Hello there. My name is Ryan Stevens, and today I'm going to be doing a presentation of the Mount Vernon, Ohio location of H&R Block. Let me give you a little bit of history about the company. H&R Block was founded by Henry W. Block, and he was the co-founder and honorary chairman of the board of H&R Block Incorporated, which he and his brother Richard founded in 1955. It was a small office that offered bookkeeping and other services of small businesses. But today, in 2016, there are over 12,000 company-owned and franchised retail locations in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and other U.S. territories, and even on U.S. military bases around the world. So today, the presentation is going to be a comprehensive strategic analysis presentation, and we're going to discuss the strengths and the weaknesses, along with opportunities and threats. We're going to use those to recommend two different strategies to the Mount Vernon, Ohio location, and we're going to justify them and give an implementation plan. So what are the strengths of the Mount Vernon, Ohio location? Well, H&R Block has a very steady consumer base within the Knox County area. Therefore, there is a lot of elderly people that come here to retire. Therefore, there is a consistent consumer base that comes into an H&R Block location every single year to have their taxes done. Another strength of the Mount Vernon, Ohio location is that all the tax pros are very competent at their job, and they possess great knowledge when it comes to taxes because they've been doing it for a very, very long time. Which is another strength of the Mount Vernon, Ohio office, because the clients that have come to the Mount Vernon, Ohio location have a very comfortable face to go to every single year. See, what H&R Block does is they look at a client's tax situation and they match them up with the best tax pro for their specific thing. And that way, every single year, that client can go visit the same tax pro every year, which will help them be able to ease the stress because taxes can be a very stressful event for any person. The last strength that H&R Block has is that H&R Block gives extensive training programs to all their new employees to make sure that they feel confident when they go into a job with a real consumer. They have a very, very extensive training program, which includes role playing and even many, many different situations on the computer. So they have different scenarios when it comes to what taxes, what rules and regulations they must follow, and other different situations that may come up within the tax season. So what are some of the weaknesses that the Mount Vernon, Ohio location presents? Well, the Mount Vernon office can only help 5 customers at a time due to the lack of workers within the area, which can be a real problem because there is a very, very hard it can be very hard to retain clients within the office if if it is a very, very slow process. So we're going to try and be able to fix that weakness. Now, although employee turnover is very low, the few steady employees that the company has are getting elderly and will most likely retire within the coming years. Now, when that does happen, that's going to leave an uncertainty of where the tax expertise and knowledge is going to come from, which might lower the bar of how much tax this particular office is able to employ. The employees who also work within the office, as they are an elderly generation, they have a very acute knowledge of how to operate technology, which can be very, very bad because then you have a slower production time, a slower time to have taxes done, which means that clients are able to walk up and leave and go get their taxes done at a different location. Now, because of new technology, customers are also leaving H&R Block, and they're having their taxes done for cheaper prices through software such as TurboTax and other online software programs. So what are the opportunities that the Mount Vernon, Ohio office has? Well, as we've stated before, Mount Vernon, Ohio is home to many elderly folks who don't like to change the way that they've been doing things for a very long time. So as we've stated that we have a very elderly population, and we also have an elderly population that likes to come back every single year. We want to make sure that we maintain and we retain those consumers because that is a very, very consistent income for the Mount Vernon, Ohio location. So we want to make sure we capitalize on that going forward. The other opportunity that the Mount Vernon, Ohio location has is that there are many young adults who have never done their own taxes before. So every single year, there are new people in the Mount Vernon, Ohio area, specifically due to the two colleges, Mount Vernon Nazarene University and Kenyon College, that inhabit the Knox County area. Now, normal undergrad programs are 4 years, and if we are able to somehow find a way to capitalize on these people, on these young adults, we might be able to keep them consumers for life. So, what are the threats that are affecting the Mount Vernon, Ohio location? Well, there is a competitor right down the street, Coshocton. The Mount Vernon, Ohio location of H&R Block is on Coshocton Avenue, which there is also another tax office called Jackson Hewitt, also right down the street. So, if people are concerned with the quality of service and they're also concerned with the time or the price, they're able to walk out, take a 2-minute drive, and go right down the street and go give their business to somebody else. So that is something that is threatening the H&R Block office in Mount Vernon. The other threat that Mount Vernon has is that there are many tech-savvy college students who understand how to do research and avoid filing. One of the great things about H&R Block is that a dependent can use their parents and can get a $50 discount to do their taxes through their parents. However, if their parents live in a different state, such as New York, the student that goes to the college and at Mount Vernon Nazarene University, for example, would just send their tax papers to their parents in New York, which would mean that they would only have to pay $50. Now, H&R Block still gets this business. They still gain $50 from that tax return, but the Mount Vernon office does not gain any from that. So, trying to capitalize on a way to work with those college students is a great benefit to the company. So, what type of strategies do we recommend that the Mount Vernon, Ohio location of H&R Block employs? Well, we think that there are two. We think that they need to hire 2 more individuals who are young and passionate about learning tax codes and laws. And the second one is we want to begin to promote membership programs that will allow members after 3 years to receive discounts based upon their specific tax situation. So let's talk about the first strategy first. Why do we think it's a great idea to hire two new tax pros? Well, the reasons why is because it capitalizes on 4 weaknesses, 1 strength, and it also has the possibility to neutralize a threat. As we talked about before, the Mount Vernon office can only help 5 customers at a time due to the lack of workers. This can leave customers frustrated and feeling as if they are not important enough. Now, if we can help 7 customers at a time instead of 5, this will help speed up the process, and it will also help people to be able to get in and out of the tax office in a reasonable amount of time. Also, the younger employees within the company would also be able to help the older generation with technology and how to operate, which would also speed up production. This also might solve the issue of replacing the expertise within the office when older tax professionals retire. We talked about the strength of H&R Block's extensive training programs. This would allow employees who are passionate about taxes to take the time to learn, but also gain experience on the job. And they might be able to move into those higher tax professional roles later on down the line. This would also neutralize the threat of Jackson Hewitt, which, because there would be more workers in the office, there would be an opportunity for there to be more tax returns done at a given time. So what about the second strategy, the 3-year membership program? Well, that would utilize a strength. It would capitalize on an opportunity. It would neutralize a threat. And it would also help to support a weakness. As we've also stated within this presentation, H&R Block has a very steady and loyal consumer base due to the people who live in the area. The elderly people and just the normal family within the Mount Vernon, Ohio area are looking to get their taxes done every single year. So if they go to the Mount Vernon, Ohio location of H&R Block for the last 5 years, then they would be eligible for this membership program, which would give them a discount, which would make them want to experience the same quality of service, but also have a reduced rate. Mount Vernon, Ohio is also home to many adults who have never done their taxes before. As we mentioned, the 2 colleges, Mount Vernon Nazarene University and Kenyon College within the area, every single year they are bringing in new students. Most colleges are 4 years for their undergrad programs. If we are able to somehow have the new students come in, have their taxes done at the H&R Block location in Mount Vernon for 3 years, then they would have a discount for the rest of their lives at H&R Block. This would also neutralize the major competitor down the street of Jackson Hewitt. Members who have been going to H&R Block for years would receive the same quality service from H&R Block, but at a discounted rate. This would also help the new technology that is causing customers to leave H&R Blocks, because with TurboTax and other online software, the member is usually needed to input their own tax information, which has an error in accuracy sometimes. But H&R Block would have a cheaper rate, but would also offer a great guarantee to make sure that they were having a great quality and very, very accurate return on their taxes. So how are we going to implement these strategies? Well, the first strategy of hiring 2 new individuals, we're going to try and recruit these individuals from the 2 local colleges of Mount Vernon Nazarene University and Kenyon College. They might be in majoring for accounting or financial systems or something in that category, and this would probably appeal to them. With those certain programs, they usually need to have an internship. Well, H&R Block would offer them a paid internship at the Mount Vernon office, where they would not only learn how to work within the tax office, but also learn the delicate intricacies of an H&R Block office. They would understand the ways that H&R Block likes to have their company run, and they would have an inside track as opposed to somebody who went to a different college. The second strategy, how we're going to implement the membership program, well, we're going to try and start advertising this program within the month of November. And that would give clients times to look and see at their previous year tax returns and see how many years have they gone through H&R Block to receive this discount. We would also try to partner with other local businesses that would provide special benefits to those who are members, which would increase the overall attractiveness of the membership. So not only would our clients be getting a discount on the same quality tax return, but they would also be getting coupons or other free things from other locations, from other restaurants or stores or retail locations within the Mount Vernon, Ohio area. So that is the presentation. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to raise your hand, and I'll accept any questions beginning now.